I sit in reverence and awe to the great storyteller of consciousness, the great storyteller that God is. You say God, I say consciousness. Consciousness is nothing but a storyteller. Consciousness is nothing but a great author that writes stories. If you didn't get that, let me repeat it. Consciousness is nothing but a great storyteller that writes stories. In his stories, worlds are created. More fascinating than the Lord of the Rings movies. More fascinating than our favorite fantasy movies. Stories are created through consciousness. The Jesus story was created through consciousness. The Bible, stories in the Bible, was created through consciousness. The Muhammad story was created through consciousness. All the great conquests of the world, Napoleon, and many more, whom I can't think of right now, was a story. Every man has his story. Every man has a story written by consciousness. Consciousness is the great adventurer. Consciousness writes great stories of love, great stories of adventure, stories of horror, stories of drama. Look at any film category. You can imagine consciousness writing all those different types of stories, all those in those different types of categories. From a love story to an adventure story is all written by consciousness. And we all have a story since the beginning of our birth. There's a story about our life. I have a story. You have a story. It starts at the beginning of this life that you're in right now. That's a story. From the moment of birth, from what city, from what parents you were born from what city you were born in, from what school you went to, from what sports you played, from what girl or guy you met. It's a story about your life. That consciousness wrote your story already, then put himself in your story, gave himself amnesia, put himself in your story, and lived out your story as he's living out my story. Consciousness, I am consciousness, living out the story that he made, the story that he wrote for this life. He's living it out through me, through this body, through this fake body, through this avatar. He's living out his story through this avatar, as he's living out your story in your body, using your body as an avatar. He's living out your story. He is the great storyteller that lives through his own stories until we wake up and realize, hey, I am the consciousness of God. I wrote this story. I wrote this. Consciousness, the great storyteller. May your life be a great adventure. A great adventure. As the Lord of the Rings story, he creates any story he wants. He can create a galaxy. He can create a galaxy of superheroes, or he can create a city full of peasants, a poor, God-forsaken, deserted spot on earth where people are starving. He creates both worlds, heaven and hell. He brought them. He was up here. He came down to hell to experience that, only to rise back up, to go back to heaven, to awaken your consciousness. We was up here. We were God. We came down here. Little awareness, little to no awareness, to rise back up to high awareness, to rise back up to awakening. Oh, I am that. I am that. I am God. I am higher consciousness. God became man so that man may remember and become God again. Consciousness creates beautiful stories. But when you awaken, you can create your own story. With consciousness, you can be co-creators. Peace.